What up, people? Cracked Lemonade here, and today I am going to talk to you about demo discs, particularly demo discs that I grew up playing. And I honestly had a different idea going into this before I played this particular demo disc, and then I obtained new information by watching this opening cutscene. Because the way my memory serves, I grew up playing PlayStation Underground Jampacks, and I did not realize that the PlayStation Underground Jampacks were adverts for the PlayStation Underground CD magazine. So I will straight up say that I never had the PlayStation Underground magazine. And the reason being is I wasn't aware of it. And I will get a little bit into that. So what I have is a PlayStation Underground Jampack. So these were discs that were sold for $5, and they have a variety of things on the disc, not just demos for games. So what you see here is a debriefing and a behind the scenes for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. There is save files that you can download, and this research and development thing is also something that's part of the PlayStation Underground magazine. They talk a little bit about making a game, an interactive game, with subscribers of the PlayStation Underground magazine, and you get to learn a little bit about it. And this is just generally an overview for what they're talking about. I'm going to talk over them because, one, the idea for me going into this was to talk about the Jampacks growing up. And two, I do want to give a little bit of history with why it didn't occur to me that PlayStation Underground was a CD magazine. So this PlayStation Underground Jampack is from winter of 1998. I did not get a PlayStation until 99. And I don't remember seeing Jampacks until like 2000. So in that time, and I will probably talk about this in a different video, but in that time between 1998 and 2001, the PlayStation Underground became something slightly different with the PlayStation 2 on the horizon. And I was going to talk about my subscription to the PlayStation Underground, but it's a different PlayStation Underground from this PlayStation Underground. So also on the disc are cheat codes for games. And to put things in context, cheat codes were very much golden. This is before we had video sharing websites. If we played a game and something weird happened, we had no idea if anybody else did it. So it would be, talked. And there were magazines at the time. There was one magazine that specialized in cheat codes, and that was Tips and Trick. And that was basically a cheat book for every system. It would have codes for almost every relevant game, and the the system selection would change year by year depending on what's out and what's like not being sold anymore. Older systems would end up leaving. So here is what I honestly remember playing the PlayStation Underground Jampack for. It's a demo disc. You had demos for a bunch of games. So for this particular instance, I am picking Small Soldiers. Every demo shows you the controller layout for the game. You load in the game. You play a little bit of the game up until a certain point, and then the demo ends. Or you can exit the demo at any time by pressing start and select at the same time, and it would get you out of that menu. Because it's not like games nowadays where you have like multi-game things and you pull up a menu and you get to exit the game. This was way before that. So, I don't make games, so I can't really explain the logic behind doing the start and select. But Small Soldiers was a movie at the time, and it had a video game. So the movie was about these toys that were worked on to be super popular. So they created good guys, which were the army guys, and then they created the bad guys, which are like the monsters. But the monsters ended up being like the peaceful creatures, and the army men ended up being the bad guys once the toys came to life. And I didn't watch Small Soldiers recently, so I forget exactly how they're brought to life, but they were engineered by like a defense contractor, I believe, and it made all the toys that they put in circulation go insane. They take over the town, and basically the army men are so hell-bent on destroying the creatures that they even attack humans as well. I did not play this game back when it was out. I watched the movie. I don't have anything negative to say about the movie. And this demo is actually my first experience with it. So I really didn't know where to go. And I did not notice that ramp right away. But the controls here are weird because, again, this is 1998 PlayStation, so there are no standards. Like, to shoot that thing, I had to press a button to aim, stand completely still, vulnerable to attack, and there is no like lock-on feature that I could figure out. So I played this for a little bit. And I also have this memory of seeking out this particular Jampack, the winter 1998 Jampack, once I started getting into PlayStation Underground Jampacks. And it could be because it had the demo for Metal Gear Solid, but that doesn't make sense to me because I had Metal Gear Solid that was quite honestly my second game for the system beyond Skeleton Warriors. So I don't necessarily know, but I do remember I have this memory of going to a GameStop and specifically asking, do you have the PlayStation Underground Jampack from winter 1998? And dude looked at me like I was crazy because it was probably like the year 2000 or something like that. And why would they have that specific thing? And I will get into it later when I talk about um, the official US PlayStation magazine at some point, of just my experience with like FuncoLand and GameStop and anything outside of Game Informer for that company. It it was not good. It was very few and far between. I think like whatever deal GameStop had with Game Informer was lucrative for both parties, and that's neither here nor there. It is something that's interesting when it comes to like knowing about PlayStation Underground or like the Dreamcast magazine, which I would not have subscribed to because I didn't have a Dreamcast back then. But like I remember seeing those, but never in FuncoLand / GameStop. And end up dying here a couple times before I just decide to quit the game. And ultimately, demo discs were so awesome in the 90s because you really didn't have access to the internet the way it exists now. I remember the internet from like 98 to 2003 basically being flash games and custom made fan websites of random things. But that was like the internet. That was like how I use the internet. Looking up Dragon Ball AF and trying to find everything about GT because that hadn't come out yet. They didn't do the Buu Saga yet, so we didn't see Super Saiyan 3, and everybody was trying to figure it out. Like, we was talking about AF like it was actually canon, and Dragon Ball AF is Dragon Ball After Future. It's a weird thing. It's this internet fan thing that I feel like lives in the heads of so many Dragon Ball Z old heads like myself who legitimately thought that was gospel and Super Saiyan 5 was a thing. It was a wild time, like not really having access to debunk or prove information true like the way we do now. Like, a game comes out, we know everything about it, but back then you would read magazines, you would have conversations with people, and basically you would just build out assumptions based off of that. And you would always have that one friend who says, "Oh, I have the PlayStation 2 already." Like, I have an uncle who went to Japan and gave me a system. There was always that one person who would make up like the wildest thing, like talking about like Pokemon and being like, yeah, like I got the Japanese copy of Pokemon Blue. I just can't take it outside of my house. And they got Mew 3, they got Tika Blue, all them Jones, man. And you just like, oh, word. Oh, man, that's amazing. Yo, you should bring it. It was just lying out they whole ass. And you just believe it. So anyway, this whole time I've been playing the demo of Spyro the Dragon. And Spyro is a game that I did not play growing up. I have zero connection to. And, I play a little bit here. And I rambled on a bit. And honestly, this will continue into the next part where I talk about the remaining features of this demo disc, but also in learning that PlayStation Underground was a magazine that ran parallel to US PlayStation Magazine. I'm kind of intrigued, so I'm probably gonna look more into it, and this is probably gonna come up in a couple of conversations later. But, look forward to part 2 where I finish out this demo disc, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.